Please be so kind to take your seat. S'il vous plaît, prenez votre place. On est en train de commencer la...
Please take your seats. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the third edition of the Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum for the Euro-Mediterranean region and the goal for the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean. We're going to start shortly. Please have a look on the screen for the interpretation, because simultaneous interpretation is available in several languages.
To select your language,
please press the floor button first and then use the arrows.
Channel 1 for Arabic, Channel 2 for French, Channel 3 for English, Channel 4 for Spanish, and Channel 4 for Serbian, Channel 5 for Serbian, Croatian, and Montenegro.
English, French, Arabic واحد. دفع؟ لا عربي.
Marrakesh, at the crossroads of the Mediterranean, a city of heritage, culture, and today a hub for shaping tomorrow. On May 23rd and 24th, 2025, Marrakesh hosts the third edition of the Parliamentary Economic Forum of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean. In the face of unprecedented economic, trade, and energy challenges, this forum is more than just a meeting. It is a strategic platform for action, bringing together parliamentarians, policymakers, institutions, the private sector, and civil society. Three core themes will lead the conversation: global trade in an era of fragmentation, a just energy transition for sustainable growth, and the governance of artificial intelligence, a force of transformation and responsibility. Here in Marrakesh, we aim to deliver tangible solutions. Legislative roadmaps for stronger regional integration, public-private partnerships to drive green innovation, and frameworks for AI regulation that are ethical, inclusive, and future-ready. Parliaments play a key role, shaping laws, fostering innovation, and anticipating risks. They are the bridge between today's challenges and tomorrow's solutions. One forum, a shared vision, a decisive step toward a more resilient, inclusive, and interconnected future.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, honorable member of PAM, dear partner and guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to the third edition of the PAM Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum for the Euro-Mediterranean and World Region. It is an honor and a pleasure to see how many high-level delegations again for the third edition. First of all, I wish to sincerely thank the House of the Councillors of Kingdom of Morocco for the warm hospitality and excellent support in the organization of this conference. The 2 days we have in front of us are full of engagement, and I'm certain that our exchange will be as enriching as usual and even more in the present international context. And I would like now to ask to come to the floor His Excellency Honorable Mohamed Ould Er-Rachid, the President of the House of Council of the Kingdom of Morocco and President of the Association of the Senate, Shoora and equivalent councils in Africa and in the Arab world. Sir, the floor is yours.
In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, may peace and blessings be upon the Prophet, his kith and kin. Your Excellencies, distinguished speakers, distinguished and honorable ministers, distinguished members of Parliament, honorable members of the diplomatic corps accredited to the Kingdom of Morocco, ladies and gentlemen. At the beginning of this important meeting, I would like, on behalf of the House of Councillors, to welcome you most warmly in the city of the ochre city of Marrakesh, long-standing city steeped in history, which represents the positive intermingling of civilizations. I would like to welcome you to the third edition of the Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum for the Euro-Mediterranean region and Gulf of Palm, which is being held under the high patronage of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, may God assist him. This forum is a milestone which reflects our common will to create a parliamentary platform conducive to cooperation and regional integration, and also that promotes mutual development as well as inclusive development for the peoples of the region. Needless to say, this forum is being held in regional and international context that is affected by a number of consequences of conflicts, as well as the uncertainty, economic uncertainty and volatility that exists and that affects the global trade system. There is also a lack of consensus on an equitable trade system that can promote growth, economic growth, as well as fair trade exchanges between countries, and the promotion of cooperation. Take into consideration the supply chains. The world is affected by many large-scale changes that are brought about by climate change, in addition to other key changes that affect development platforms and plans, as well, and the impact of AI, as well as our ability to show innovation, and also to ensure that we have new value chains within regional and international systems, and with the negative impact that we see also on supply chains. Therefore, we think we have a historical opportunity to come up with a fairer and more equitable trade system that is based on releasing our common energies and creating opportunities for everyone, and building a model of economic development that is fair and equitable. We believe that what the Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum has in terms of energies and in terms of experiences and vast expertise would make it possible for us to come up with good solutions as well as practical recommendations that would contribute to greater cooperation in the Euro-Mediterranean region. This is the beating heart of the global trade, and we think that this will contribute to developing a reference frame that would be conducive to greater cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mediterranean has often, or has for a long time, been just more than just a geographical feature. It is a reflection of a common history that represents a bridge between different civilizations, but at other times it's always also an obstacle between good cooperation. Therefore, today we have one common ambition, which is to promote partnership that is more equitable, that builds on common visions, and that takes into consideration security as well as development issues, in addition to the transfer of technology and achievement of climate change. This calls upon us to make sure that the Mediterranean serves as a bridge to promote stability, promote development, and we should also see the Mediterranean as a key element of the challenges we are facing both in the north and the south shores of the Mediterranean. We have to come up with equitable solutions and efficient solutions in order to achieve a development from which we would all benefit, and this calls for partnership and justice and equal opportunities. The Mediterranean we look forward to is an area and a platform for common and shared development and strategic overall dialogue. The Kingdom of Morocco, ladies and gentlemen, which is a key player in the Euro-Mediterranean region and the Gulf region as well, has key relations with all these sectors, and it believes in the mutual development and opportunities that are there for all of us. And for this reason, the Kingdom of Morocco, under the leadership of His Majesty King Mohamed VI, may God assist him, continues its action in order to contribute to the economic transition we look forward to through the launching of regional initiatives that seek to achieve sustainable development, the energy transition. In this regard, we have to recall here the Atlantic initiative of His Majesty the King, which seeks to facilitate access of the Sahel regions to the Atlantic. The Kingdom of Morocco, within the framework of this pioneering initiative, will put its advanced infrastructure and modern facilities at the disposal of these sister nations to make sure that these countries can be effectively in a part of the global trade. And this initiative also seeks to promote the diversification of the economies of these countries in order to contribute to prosperity, better livelihoods, and greater development opportunities. This connection, unprecedented connection that links these Sahel countries to the southern part of Morocco is going to serve as a strategic axis that would link these countries to the Atlantic through an infrastructure that would also relate them to or link them to the Mediterranean. This ambitious project is an unprecedented economic opportunity for for efficient development between the African hinterland as well as the Mediterranean region and the Gulf in order to promote economic integration. It will contribute also to value chains that would serve all these people. The Kingdom of Morocco, under the wise leadership of His Majesty King Mohamed VI, may God be with him, in cooperation with our partners in Nigeria, we also seek to implement the gas project that would make it possible for the West African countries to have access to the energy they need to promote their economic and social development. This gas pipeline has major potential for the supply of gas to these countries as well as to other countries in the future in order to ensure energy sovereignty of these countries. We expect once this project is concerned, we expect this project to be the longest energy project in the world, and it will contribute also to the provision or supply of gas at global level. The achievement of economic integration between the Gulf regions cannot be achieved unless we develop common possibilities in order to promote our shared development, especially in strategic areas such as the microchips industry, cybersecurity, cloud storage, and the data storage, as well as the mechanisms needed to promote investments in human resources and to develop new funding mechanisms for the promotion of our economies through establishing links between different markets and different cooperation partnerships between the different sovereign funds. This calls for cooperation also between academic institutions as well as research laboratories in order to exchange experiences and promote academic cooperation. As parliaments, we represent the voice of the people in the region, and therefore we look forward to playing our role in full in order to achieve these objectives and come up with the legislation needed to facilitate economic cooperation and integration between our countries. In this respect, we have to draw attention to the fact that one of the major challenges that are faced by our world today concern a good governance of AI, given the effects and consequences it has for the future of the new generations. Therefore, we have to come up with a collective policy in order to promote the exchange of best practices and also to look at the good cooperation between legislative assemblies. We as parliaments in the Euro-Mediterranean and Gulf region are very much concerned by the participation and engagement in this project in order to come up with legislative and ethical frameworks for the proper use of AI, given the role it has on the overall economic development of our peoples. The development is the pillar for the establishment of stability, peace, and security. It is also a key element that helps us to address the risks posed by terrorist groups and extremist groups, and therefore this Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary does not deal only with the economic aspects, but it is also a platform for developing a full-fledged system for the promotion of stability and peace on both shores of the Mediterranean and also in the Gulf, and to make sure that we contribute to economic development throughout the world. We believe firmly that building common cultural projects, as was the case over the past centuries, is the key element on which to build in order to make sure that we build on our legacy and on the historical links that we have between our countries. And we think that we can once again throw bridges for cooperation and make sure that they serve as levers for economic development and cultural exchanges that are steeped in history. Once again, we would like to welcome you once again to this forum, hoping that we will come up with practical recommendations for greater cooperation and more ambitious and fruitful future for everyone. Thank you for your kind attention.
I wish to thank President Er-Rachid for his introduction, which really set the tone for our conference today. Merci, Monsieur le Président. And now I have the pleasure and honor to call here to the podium Honorable Giulio Centemero, the President of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean.
Well, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, Excellencies, esteemed colleagues, and distinguished guests, first of all, Sabah al-Khair, good morning everybody. I'm very happy to be here and honored. This is the third edition, and we've been working a lot during the last maybe 10 years to build such a great event hosted by Morocco. This is a great pleasure for me to open this session after the President of the House of Councillors of Kingdom of Morocco, Honorable Mohamed Ould Er-Rachid, which I thank you for generously hosting the third edition of the forum, and this is the first time that I open the forum as President of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean. My appreciation further goes to the members of the PAM delegations, the keynote speakers, the moderators, alongside all distinguished experts and guests. I believe this year we are hitting the record numbers of participants from abroad, even beyond the Atlantic Ocean, which is very important. This is the diplomacy of the oceans and of the seas, the diplomacy of water, I could say, if I may. And it shows that Marrakesh, this forum, became a landmark in the international scenario, not just parliamentary diplomacy, but also economic and cultural diplomacy. Dear colleagues, we all know that the Euro-Mediterranean and Gulf countries are united by a deeply rooted history, marked by shared cultural ties and common heritage. However, we are facing today unprecedented challenges, but actually we have been always facing unprecedented challenges. We are kind of used, but in this moment, of course, we're facing conflicts, the war in Ukraine, the situation in Gaza, a reshaping of the world trade, climate change, and a new industrial revolution driven by the AI, upon which we are working on defining a possible governance for the Mediterranean and beyond, because PAM is working, for example, with the Security Council of the United Nations, for example, to address, to control the malicious use of AI and also the creation of fake news through AI. So in order to use this technology to push humanity further and not to push it back. As PAM, from the outset of the latest humanitarian crisis in the Middle East, we have called for the immediate release of hostages and for the absolute need to protect innocent civilians and for the application of the most rigorous respect of international humanitarian law and human rights by all parties. I believe these gatherings, as ours today in Marrakesh, are crucial to continue fostering mutual dialogue and cooperation. Over the years, and despite the numerous crises affecting the regions, PAM has proven to be a unique platform to facilitate, through the instruments of parliamentary diplomacy, the Pacific coexistence and the need of integration among our peoples and countries. On this, allow me to commend the diplomatic and humanitarian efforts of many PAM members, not just delegations, but even single people who put themselves out there to help situations which seem sometimes even impossible to find a solution. At the same time, today, the global trend landscape is being reshaped by disruptions, and we got use of disruptions since COVID. COVID, in my opinion, was the black swan that led to supply chain disruptions, that led to conflicts, and so forth. Recently, as you may know, PAM is a part of the network at the IMF and the World Bank. I was in Washington at the spring meetings, and connecting to what the initial video was saying, one of the leitmotif that will lead our economy in the next few years in order to manage the disruption and not being attacked by surprises is developing public-private partnership. We have excellent examples in our countries, and we can share these examples right here, right now. And moreover, after being in Washington, D.C., I decided myself to lead a delegation of professionals, entrepreneurs, and other figures to the Silicon Valley to understand why the Silicon Valley is what it is right now, how it all started. I will share just a point with you because I think it's something common in our cultures. In the Mediterranean, in Europe, in the Middle East, North Africa, we have the stigma of failure. If you do an initiative and you don't succeed, you think that you are kind of guilty. We have to cancel that. This is our small cultural revolution that we have to do. Because whenever you start an initiative, even if it doesn't go well, you still have the experience, the skills, the patents, and that can be, all those can be invested in other initiatives. Moreover, the rapid development of AI is posing many challenges. And I will tell you something, don't be scared, because robots don't kill men, don't kill humans. It's only humans that can decide to use technology to kill other humans. According to many research, if we are ready to set up a correct governance of the AI, we will have more jobs in the future, we will have better life conditions. Innovation, it's about that. We have seen several industrial revolutions, and they always lead to that. But we have to be ready, and this is one of the platforms in which we can discuss, and we can make the Mediterranean a place where governance of the AI is going to be defined in a better way than other areas of the world. Dear colleagues, faced with all these challenges, we must take pride that we all gather here today, as we will gather soon in Abu Dhabi for the Women's Forum, as we will gather in many other occasions, and as we will start a new initiative concerning youth, but I won't talk about that in this meeting. And we have to take on our responsibilities as political leaders and lawmakers to address them and provide tangible and actual proposals. I also wish to stress the importance of having here so many representatives from the private sectors, PPP, public-private partnership, CEOs and business leaders. there cannot be realistic change on transition without your crucial contribution and commitment. Let's all get to work to show that today's meeting will not only be just about empty words, but a natural step towards a more integrated, united, peaceful and prosperous Euro-Mediterranean and Gulf region for all. Thank you. Thank you.
I wish to thank President Centemero for his words and for referring to the work we are conducting on AI together with UN Security Council. Thank you very much, President Centemero. Now I have the pleasure to invite here to the podium His Excellency Mohamed Sabari, who is the first Vice President of the House of Representatives of the Kingdom of Morocco.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد أشرف المرسلين السيد رئيس مجلس
Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen, Excellency, Mr. President of the Euro-Mediterranean of PAM, ladies and gentlemen, Presidents of legislative councils, ladies and gentlemen, presidents of the parliamentary federations, ladies and gentlemen, presidents of regional and multilateral organizations, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants in So I am delighted to be with this third session of the Marrakesh Forum for the Euro-Mediterranean region and Mediterranean and Gulf regions. I'd like to thank you to attend this session for where we have an elite from the political decision makers, representatives of the peoples, representatives of international organizations. Mr. Chair, you have talked about this elite, you have talked about these organizations, highlighted the importance of a dialogue that is going to be undertaken between these organizations. We are facing up to challenges that are complex and interrelated, connected. There are also key topics that we need to discuss with respect to the present situation. There are key. C'est Isabelle maintenant qui parle français. Elle doit prendre un relais. C'est Isabelle qui parle maintenant. اليوم عدة تحديات منها عدم التوازن. Stop with. We're looking forward to this one.
These are fundamental challenges that we have to address regarding the future of globalization, taken into consideration the trade agreements and the tariff agreements, the GATT, that were signed in this very city. This city is steeped in history that is known throughout the world, and that is in 1994. This is not just a globalization that deals only with the economic and trade aspect, but it also concerns a full-fledged international system that is more divisive than ever, that is polarized. And you have also included in your agenda the energy transition, and this concerns another aspect that is taking place, and that is the subject of great debate, and that concerns international contracting systems that go beyond preservation of the environment. And it also addressed the question of climate equity and justice and cooperation between the different countries of the south and the north, as well as the promotion of green economy. The industrialized countries have benefited from many years of industrial development, and they have also caused pollution of the environment and led to climate imbalances and disruptions. But it is the peoples of the countries of the south that are suffering the most, and especially in Africa and Latin America, because the climate extremism has led to displacement of people and migration flows. And again, there is this question of financing the green economy, and to what extent the countries are committed or do implement their commitments and obligations to make sure that we create or produce energy from renewable sources. And there are many segments of the population in the countries of the south still are not benefiting from their right to benefit from energy from classical sources. And therefore, once again, there is a question that is quite frustrating for us, and that is the question of international solidarity and the patents involved, and the will to transfer technology to the countries of the south, making sure it is accessible as far as cost is concerned. In this regard, and given the production modes and systems and the cooperation mechanisms, there is also this question of food security, and we have to ask the question about the gaps that exist between developing and developed countries, the problem of malnutrition in some parts of the globe, whereas other countries have surpluses and excesses, and therefore there are also food that is being thrown out, whereas it is badly needed, desperately needed in other countries. There are many countries that have benefited greatly from technology, moving from industry to information technology and to AI, with the various challenges involved. And the challenges relating to personal data and privacy of data. On the other end of the spectrum, the poor countries are still looking for funds in order to come up with the necessary infrastructure to benefit from this technology. In addition to these, given these problems, we as parliamentarians have to ask the following questions. The first question is the extent of our commitment to rise to the economic challenges at global level, to make sure that they are equitable, to make sure that there is also transfer of technology in order to achieve energy transition and build the green economy. The poor countries and developing countries are asking that we commit to the programs and plans, because otherwise we cannot achieve success unless there is international solidarity, as well as transfer and ownership of technology by the countries of the South in particular. Second question concerns our collective ability as an international community to make sure that we promote stability, because there can be no development without stability and peace. And here we ask the question to the extent to which we are committed within the international system to the respecting the sovereignty of the countries and their territorial integrity. The third question concerns our commitments to ethics as far as the use of technology, and particularly AI, which has to be properly guided in order to promote innovation, creativity, facilitate exchanges, and facilitate livelihoods. We have to make sure that AI does not increase the major gaps that exist between countries and within countries. We distinguished speakers and participants. We have, as we said earlier in the previous forums, the countries of the Gulf and the Mediterranean countries have major potential to contribute to rise into these challenges and stake to rise into these challenges, and we have to make sure that we look at our environment, especially in Africa, and we take much pride in belonging to Africa, and Africa has massive potential that can be leveraged to create wealth, and this can make of Africa the continent of the 21st century. Therefore, we think that the projects and initiatives that were proposed by His Majesty King Mohammed VI, may God assist him, for the benefit of Africa, we think that it can help us achieve these objectives and turn Africa into an attractive country, attractive continent as far as investment and technology is concerned. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
I wish to thank Honorable Sabari for his word and his conclusion with the wishes about prosperous and peaceful future for all our regions. Said so, I have the pleasure to invite here to the podium Mr. Chakib Alji, President of the General Confederation of the Enterprises of Morocco.
The name of God, the merciful, of the
Conseiller, Monsieur le Président de l'Assemblée parlementaire Méditerranée, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les Présidents.
President of the Parliaments, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor and pleasure for me to take the floor and to address this PAM meeting dedicated to the Mediterranean and Gulf regions, organized here in Morocco, a city that has always been at the crossroad for dialogue and rapprochement between peoples and cultures. So I would like, first of all, to thank Mr. Mohamed Er-Rachid, President of the House of the Councilors, for the organization of this important forum, which give us as a private sector the opportunity to interact with our partners, institutional partners from the PAM and political decision makers from the public and political level from the Euro-Mediterranean region, as well as with the academic and world and the civil society. The goal is, of course, to think about the economic stakes and development stakes to which we're faced and to explore together the possibilities of enhanced cooperations for a better future. My thanks go also to those who have contributed in one way or another to the organization of this major conference. Ladies and gentlemen, during the past 5 years, the world has had a number of health crises and environmental crises that have disturbed the supply chains and threatened the world economic and social stability. These problems have highlighted clearly the importance of regional integration as a lever for economic growth. In this context, the present reality imposes on us more than ever the need to enhance cooperation amongst our countries and to think together and build new partnerships in order to transform these issues and problems into concrete opportunities. the stakes of food security, the rarification of water sources, climate change, technological transformations require tight coordination between countries in order to meet these challenges collectively. Within the perspective of complementarity and sustainable and inclusive development, we need to promote productive investment, the implementation of innovative partnerships between the private and public sector, the training of talents, and creating synergies between our national and regional enterprises, notably in fact of the impacts, the more and more serious impacts of climate change. In this respect, Morocco has adopted a strategic plan in the area of renewable energies in order to achieve an energy mix, achieve 50% of clean energy resources by 2050. This by 2027, thanks to His Majesty's clairvoyance, will be achieved. The digital transformation, IA, are also a very central level for economic growth, requiring a possibility for all actors, particularly the small, very small, and SMEs, which are 80% of our economic fabric. We will enable them to have access to technology and enhance their competitivity and add value to human capital. In order to support these changes, the parliamentary roles is more than ever essential. It is a key institution that are called to improve the business environment, promote laws, and have a adapted legislative framework. In this respect, the CGM plays a very important role through its role in Parliament and its contribution to the legislative body. This group represents the voice of the national enterprises. It's a relay between the concerns of economic actors and the concrete problems that they're facing, and propose also solutions in order to improve the business climate and to enhance economic development. It also ensures a mission of proposal on the basis of realism and, of course, the need to take into consideration the real social problems. The PPPs is no longer a choice but a must. It's a fundamental pillar for integrated and inclusive growth. The organization of Morocco's organization of the World Cup is going to be an opportunity to accelerate the growth of our countries through investments in strategic sectors such as infrastructures, tourism, service sectors, and digitalization. This national collective effort is going to be supported by PPP collaboration to guarantee a sustainable effect and impact on development and social justice. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this forum represents an ideal platform to enhance dialogue and coordination between political decision makers and economic stakeholders in order to promote common vision, coherent policies to broaden and strengthen regional integration and to meet the challenges, the general challenges. The world is changing at an unprecedented speed. There is no longer room for hesitation. At the CGM, we're persuaded that the future belongs to those who have a clear vision and who make it concrete through partnerships and collective will. I thank you for your attention and wish you a very good stay in Morocco and a fruitful conference. Thank you for your attention.
After the opening addresses, we have now a series of key addresses by the President of the Member States of PAM. And I have the pleasure to invite here to the podium His Excellency Honorable Hamad Salman Al-Mushallam, Speaker of the Council of Representatives of the Kingdom of Bahrain.
In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, may peace and blessings be upon the Prophet, his kith and kin. Distinguished Mohamed Er-Rachid, Speaker of the House of Councilors in the sister nation, the Kingdom of Morocco. Distinguished Giulio Centemero, PAM Presidents, distinguished participants, speakers of the parliamentary assemblies, ladies and gentlemen, may Allah's peace be upon all of you. It gives me much pleasure to be with you here for this third Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum for the Mediterranean region and Gulf of PAM. We have this constructive dialogue that is going on within this platform that determines the contours of the developments of our countries and peoples. We are very much, we appreciate very much the generosity and hospitality of the Kingdom of Morocco and the kind invitation extended to us, as well as the excellent arrangements made for this forum, which has become a good platform for the exchange of experiences. Today we live in a world that is witnessing swift technological and economic changes that have an impact on the global trade mechanism and systems, and that are related to food safety and water safety, as well as the impact of AI on the global economy. These changes call for the greater parliamentary cooperation to make sure that we achieve sustainable development in this regard. The Kingdom of Bahrain has been implementing a full-fledged strategy based on the high instructions of His Majesty. The King may assist him. His Majesty has laid down the foundations for the national plans and actions to be engaged fully in the developments witnessed in the world based on our human resources. We have come up with quality programs and initiatives that are implemented by His Royal Highness Salman bin Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince. May God assist him and protect him. We have been basing on diversification of investment to make sure that this is and that our country is fully engaged in the interconnected world. The Kingdom of Bahrain has ranked first in terms of promoting the economic activities in the region. We have also witnessed much progress, especially in terms of promoting infrastructure and coming with a modern legislative framework to make sure that we promote entrepreneurship and economic diversification. This has made Bahrain an attractive country as far as investments is concerned, and for the promotion of innovation. The Bahrain has realized the needs for the different changes affecting the world, and we have been relying on modern technology as well as AI, and Bahrain has taken many steps to come up with a modern economic system in order to promote governance and cyber security. As well as the use of AI in executive and the legislative branches based on a plan that seeks to make sure Bahrain is a leader in in entrepreneurship and AI through a good cooperation between the public and private sectors. The distinguished chair and participants, the Kingdom of Bahrain has been keenly engaged in international cooperation to rise to climate change, climate challenges, and to come up with plans, especially Vision 2060, in keeping with the UN objectives and the Paris Agreement, and in this respect. The Kingdom of Bahrain has come up with programs for reforestation and also for reducing the pollution by the year 2035. We also seek to achieve sustainability as far as the climate environment is concerned. This plan, which seeks to promote sustainable development, cannot achieve its objectives unless we make sure that human dignity is preserved, that the values of tolerance and peace are respected. These are values in which the Kingdom of Bahrain believes deeply, and it can help us achieve an ambitious and fruitful, prosperous future for new generations. We also look forward to continuing to be fully engaged in international cooperation in this regard. The question of Palestine has to be at the heart of the international agenda to make sure our sisters and brothers in Palestine achieve their rights to a state in keeping with the two-state solution and the Arab Initiative, as well as the related resolutions. We need a convincing stand at the international level in order to check the Israeli aggressions and also stop the catastrophic effects on civilians. And to conclude, we believe that international cooperation can promote sustainable development, and we believe also that the Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum provides a platform for a good and fruitful exchange of experiences in order to achieve prosperity for all. We look forward to practical steps to make sure that our parliamentary cooperation is properly served. We look forward to creating a digital parliamentary platform that would make it possible for us to exchange legislative experiences and promote cooperation in order to promote investment as well as cross-border cooperation. I wish your economic parliamentary forum every success, and we hope that it will be a milestone as well as a launching pad for greater prosperity for all our countries. Thank you.
I wish to thank His Excellency Al-Mushlam for his words, and also yesterday in the meeting of the Secretary General of PAM, we heard about the experience of the Parliament of Bahrain in the application of artificial intelligence in the work of the Parliament, which we hope to benefit all of us. Now, I have the pleasure to invite to the floor His Excellency Honorable Afrim Gashi, who is the Speaker of the Assembly of the Republic of North Macedonia.
Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and privilege to address this esteemed gathering at the Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum of the Mediterranean, a forum that continues to serve as a vital bridge between continents, cultures, and economies. As President of Parliament of North Macedonia, I bring with me the voice of a nation deeply committed to regional cooperation, sustainable development, and shared prosperity of the Mediterranean community. Thought small in size, North Macedonia stands tall in ambition. Situated at the crossroads of Europe and the Mediterranean, we understand the transformative power of connection, economic, political, and human. Our history is one of resilience and evolution. Today, we look toward the future with both clarity and confidence. The Mediterranean region is endowed with abundant natural resources dynamic youth population, strategic geographic positioning, and rich cultural heritage. Yet, we also faced shared challenges: climate change, migration, economic inequality, and the urgent need for a just and inclusive transition in our economies. These challenges transcend borders, and so must our solutions. This forum offers us not only a platform to speak, but a mandate to act. We must create mechanisms for inclusive investment, youth empowerment, stronger democratic institutions, and the greening of our economies. North Macedonia is ready and willing to contribute meaningfully to these efforts. In our parliament, we are actively aligning our legislative framework with European standards, not only to fulfill our citizens' aspiration for EU membership, but also to strengthen transparency, uphold the rule of law, and cultivate a business environment that encourages investment and innovation. We believe the future of Mediterranean lies in partnership, public and private, north and south, east and west, in building new economic corridors, in embracing digital transformation and green development, and most important, in listening to one another, respecting our diversity, and uniting around shared goals. Let us leave Marrakesh not just with ideas, but with tangible commitments. Let us deepen the ties between our parliaments, our economies, and our citizens. Let us chart a Mediterranean future that is peaceful, prosperous, and resilient in face of tomorrow's challenges. Thank you for your attention, and may our shared vision guide us toward a stronger, more united Mediterranean region. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank President Gashi for his word, and it gave me the opportunity to say that the day before yesterday there was a meeting in Vienna of the Diplomatic Corps, an international organization, and it was mentioned that in such time of crisis for multilateralism, never is needed as much the role of parliamentary diplomacy as a platform to relaunch and support global governance and multilateralism. Thank you, President Gashi, for your words. Now, I have the pleasure to announce a message by His Excellency Honorable Andrija Mandić, the Speaker of the Parliament of Montenegro, which will be delivered by His Excellency Dejan Đurović, Head of the Delegation of Montenegro to PAM and Vice President of our Assembly.
Dear hosts, dear President Er-Rachid, dear President Mr. Centemero, dear Secretary General Mr. Piazzi, Your Excellencies, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to your hospitality and professionalism and your commitment, we are now witnessing the continuation of development of an exceptional platform that contributes not only to the exchange of
This is
and experience and best practices, but also to strengthening cooperation among the Mediterranean. This forum confirms that the topics that bring us together are much more important than the differences that set us apart. Economic development, development of the environment or protection of the environment, sustainable social policies and security are the pillars of PAM, where we have to work together to build the future of our shared Mediterranean area. In the time of global challenges, we have to have one voice. And as parliamentarians, we have to recognize the responsibility that we have towards our citizens and towards our children. Our meeting in Marrakesh today is an expression of responsibility and of the vision which is based on stable, prosperous and connected Balkans and Mediterranean as the top of all of that. I would like to use this opportunity to inform you that in the 19th session of PAM that took place in Rome in February this year, I was elected for one of the vice presidents of PAM. It is a great honor for me. And not only for me, it is a great honor for Montenegro. But it is also a particular commitment and obligation that I will have to work on with full responsibility, having always in mind the values of Parliamentary Assembly in my mind. I also want to inform you, with great pleasure, that in the same meeting it was confirmed that the Parliament of Montenegro will be a host of the 20th Jubilee plenary session of PAM, which will take place on the 7th and 8th of May 2026 in Montenegro, in Podgorica. A special value of this event is the first summit of the presidents of the parliaments of member states of PAM, which will take place within this event on the 6th of May next year, and it will be organized at the initiative of the Speaker of the Parliament of Montenegro, Mr. Andrija Mandić. I would like, therefore, to use this opportunity to extend cordial invitation to all delegations that are present here to join us in Montenegro next year so that we can together celebrate this important jubilee of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean. That will be an opportunity for Montenegro that is at the door of the European Union, where it will become a full-fledged member. It will be, therefore, the opportunity for Montenegro to present its progress in reforms, democratization and adoption of European values. It will also be an opportunity for us to show you how beautiful our country is and how rich cultural heritage we have and how much tourism potentials we have, with which we contribute to diversity of the Mediterranean. And we have our Minister of Tourism today who will also be speaking about that, so you'd better listen. I believe that the 20th plenary session in Montenegro will be a particularly important event, not only for our country, but for all members of PAM. Together, we can and we must improve dialogue, cooperation and mutual understanding, because that is the only path towards sustainable future of our region. On that occasion, just like here in Marrakesh today, we will confirm our firm commitment to our shared goals: economic prosperity, unity and progress of the Mediterranean area. In this particular geographic area where East and West meet, where civilizations and culture interweave, we, as the representatives of people, have the duty to be the bridges of cooperation and holders of peace. Nothing else. Going towards that goal, as the Vice President of PAM, I would like to recognize yesterday's initiative to form Association of Secretary Generals of all parliaments of the countries of the Mediterranean in order to ensure better networking and coordination. I would like, in the end, to thank our dear hosts in Marrakesh and the Parliament of the Kingdom of Morocco and PAM for their unwavering commitment to the strengthening of shared goals. I wish you all very successful work in this unique event. And see you next year in Montenegro. Welcome.
Thank you very much. you for the kind invitation to Montenegro. And I have now the pleasure to announce a message by His Excellency Honorable Hassan bin Abdullah Al Ghanim, the Speaker of the Shoora Council of Qatar. Message delivered by His Excellency Honorable Abdullah bin Nasser Al Subay, the head of the Qatari delegation to PAM and Vice President of our Assembly.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Peace be upon Prophet Mohammed and his kith and kin. I would like to thank the Kingdom of Morocco, brother country, Mr. Giulio Centemero, President of the PAM, ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, Presidents of national parliaments and members of the PAM, dear delegates, dear participants, I am delighted to meet you again for this international forum that is dealing this year with an important topic, namely the economic and trade challenges, as well as the unprecedented energy challenges that we are faced with. We hope that this forum is going to produce recommendations to benefit our nations and people. I'm also delighted to express all my gratitude to the Kingdom of Morocco, to its king, its parliament, and its people for the organization of this important forum. I would like to thank them for their warm welcome. I would like also to commend the work of Mr. Er-Rachid and the Secretariat of PAM under the leadership of Mr. Ghazi for their invitation, and for the excellent organization of this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, our present assembly, this today's meeting covers key topics that are going to be dealt with by our MPs, and these issues are important for our people. Of course, there are macroeconomic stakes here in the Euro-Mediterranean and Gulf countries, and it has energy and financial aspects to which we will have to face up. We need to adapt, and we need to make economic choices that take into consideration these challenges. We like also to talk about IA governance, economic integration within our regions. We need to enhance our commercial cooperation and establish and draft treaties that to enhance these relationships. This, of course, through the facilitation of goods and services and by enhancing trade. So we call for trade mechanisms that will enable us to establish and trust between investors and societies within regions, and to make international trade sustainable. We need to increase investment in strategic sectors such as IA and renewable energies. We need to formalize this regional integration, and we call for the implementation of structuring projects such as the transport and additional transport networks. So this will enhance trade relationships in our region. We need more connectivity, electric connectivity that will enable us to enhance complementarity in the energy sector. We need to develop these networks in the framework of a system based on complementarity, and which enables us to lift the barrier hurdles to face up to the geopolitical challenges that impact trade and exchanges. And in order to make our exchanges more fluid, we need to face up to the customs tariffs and customs barriers. We also need to meet the trade challenges, and therefore we have to act at the legislative level by adopting economic and financial incentives through encouragement of wind and solar energy projects. We need to enhance energy efficiency in order to preserve our environment. We need to look at the support circular economy projects to give value to our waste and encourage investments in technologies that enable us to enhance those economies through support to research institutes. We need to have investment funds in order to invest in sustainable infrastructures and to enhance circular economy in the energy sector, and of course use green hydrogen as an alternative source of energy. We need to again recycle the industrial wastes and make of them energy sources. As an MP, we need to make sure that we ratify treaties for international agreements in order to regulate the maritime trade, but also to set up an independent body to control the developments of artificial intelligence to make it comply with ethical criteria. We need also to make sure that we have rehabilitation programs by training in order to face up to these challenges. Under the high leadership of Sheikh Hamad Al Thani, the Qatar, thanks to his role, Qatar plays a very important role in enhancing cooperation between the Gulf states and the Euro-Mediterranean states. Our foreign economic policy is based on dialogue and cooperation. We have an open economy based on international trade and regional cooperation. This enables us to enhance our relationships with the countries from these two regions, and we're doing this by building bridges through economic partnerships, through political, economic, and cultural exchanges. We work with international organizations in order to enhance sustainable developments within our regions. We also we not only work in the field of energy investments. Qatar has adopted a policy, the mediation policy in the political arena, which has made of our country a key actor in conflict resolution. We also work on renewable energy programs such as wind and solar energy, and we have adopted strict regulations in order to protect our environments and to benefit from new climate changes, and have $2 billion investment in order to establish an environment that is conducive to sustainability and prosperity. We have also reduced the carbon emission we have reached a threshold of 30%. We work at all these levels in Euro-Mediterranean regions and in the Gulf countries. Mr. Chair, this conference is being held while there's a genocide going on in the Middle East. Nobody is spared, neither women nor children. There is destruction of the refugees, hospitals and schools in the occupied territories. The aggressor continues its aggression through a policy that consists in driving the population to hunger and to defy all international rules and regulations. We call for a ceasefire of these hostilities. The number of victims is increasing and has been increasing since March 2024, with a very important proportion of women, children and elderly people as victims of this. Population lacks medicine, suffers from health problems and heavy human losses. in spite of the efforts, Qatar's efforts, the efforts of Egypt and Qatar with the support of the Arab League and under the American supervision, the colonizing power continues to conduct its policy in spite of all the humanitarian calls. These policies are shameful to all humanity. This is a barbarous policy that kills children and women. We insist on the need to establish a Palestinian state, the frontiers of 1967, with East Jerusalem as a capital, in compliance with the initiative of Arab countries and the international resolutions. This is the only solution that will enable us to bring peace to this region. In conclusion, I would like to wish this assembly to formulate the recommendations that will enable us to ensure stability and prosperity within our regions and for the benefit of our people. I thank you for your attention.
I wish to thank Honorable Al-Subay for his words and all PAM, all the international community stand for
Honorable Subay for his call and for his call for a ceasefire, immediate ceasefire, and for the protection of the civilians.
And I wish also to mention something that as part of the PAM contribution to the UN Pact for the Future, Qatar, we lost on the 6th of November, the second World Summit on Social Development. So we will be very happy to contribute, and thank you for this initiative, which is carried out jointly by Qatar, Morocco, and Belgium. So thank you very much for that. I have now the great pleasure to invite here to the podium Her Excellency Honorable Mariam Binteneya, who is Deputy Speaker of the Federal National Council of the United Arab Emirates and the President of the PAM Women Parliamentary Forum.
Good morning to you all. Distinguished Ms. Mohamed Er-Rachid, Speaker of the House of Councillors in the Kingdom of Morocco. Distinguished Giulio Centemero, President of PAM. Distinguished Sergio Piazzi, Secretary General. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me much pleasure today to take the floor for the first time as President of PAM Women Parliamentary Forum. I would like also to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the House of Councillors for the generous hospitality for extended to us for this third Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum. And I would like also to extend my sincere thanks to Lima from Portugal, who has played a key role in setting up this Women Parliamentary Forum. I would like in this respect to shed light on things that we accept and take for granted. Women in our societies are still under-considered that do not enable them to play their role in full in society. In some countries, women are still considered as second-class citizens because of political discrimination or because of certain habits and customs that are steeped in societies. In this regard, the UN Economic Council says that 71% of women in the Arab world do not have a bank account. And this, of course, reduces the autonomy and independence of women to achieve their financial stability and their participation from the financial perspective. despite the fact that women in the Middle East and North Africa account for more than the majority in the academic sector, but their participation in society does not exceed, that is economic participation, does not exceed 21%. In addition to that, unemployment among the university graduates is high, and this points to a major gap that has to be addressed through more inclusive policies and more inclusive and equitable policies, and therefore we have to make sure that integration and inclusion has to be included, of course, but we have to make sure also that women are empowered to participate in public life and to give women their rightful place in decision making. Despite the key role played by women in our societies, especially in crisis situations, their participation is still limited as far as laying policies and making decisions is concerned. Therefore, our vision is clear. We cannot build prosperous societies without addressing the question of discrimination against women. Women's empowerment, economic empowerment, is one of the key pillars for achieving overall development. The Women Parliamentary Forum plays a key role in this regard, and I would like to say here that the second session will be held in Abu Dhabi in June 2025. At the invitation of the UAE, we will discuss 4 major topics. First is the economic empowerment of women. Second, equal opportunities to achieve our objectives in health and education and environment. Third, promote the role as far as addressing terrorism and extremism is concerned. And fourth, address gender bias and gender inequality. We believe in the importance of coming up with specific agendas to promote the achievement of these objectives, to also achieve inclusion. From Marrakesh to Abu Dhabi, we hope that the principle of gender equality will be achieved through practical steps and measures away from any empty promises. We look forward as men and women who are interested, of course, in the future of our policies, in the future of our country's developments, to work together to move from the diagnosis phase to actual implementation and come up with results that are measurable. I would like, before concluding, to reiterate my warm welcome to you to come to Abu Dhabi and work together so that we can work together towards the achievement of a future that is more balanced and that is more equitable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariam, for your words and for the excellent work done in supporting PAM on women empowerment. Thank you very much. Now we have a series of interventions by the presidents of regional and international parliamentary assemblies, partners of PAM, and the guests. First, I would like to invite here to the podium His Excellency Honorable Gustavo Pacheco, President of the Andean Parliament, President of the Union of Latin American Parliament, UPLAC.
Honorable Presidente de la Cámara de Consejeros del Reino de Marruecos.
Councilors of the Kingdom of Morocco, Mr. Mohamed Er-Rachid, President of the House of Councilors, Honorable Vice President of the House of Representatives of Morocco, President of PAM, it's a real pleasure to be amongst you today. The Honorable Presidents, Alternative Presidents of Parliamentary, it's a pleasure to be amongst you today and to share with you our heartfelt thanks to the Euro-Mediterranean region and Gulf regions, and to tell you that we at the level of Latin America and Caribbean area, we attend this meeting with great hope. We would like to thank King Mohamed VI, may God assist him, for his vision that he had. He initiated these meetings of all parliamentarians, and thanks to his generosity, I think we feel much closer to each other. Morocco has become the capital, world capital of parliamentary diplomacy, and I'm saying this with a lot of love and thankful feelings. A few weeks ago, we were blessed to have elected the new Pope, Vatican Pope, and he's from Peru, and so he comes from Latin America, and so we pray God that he may work in peace. The upcoming days we will meet together to work on cooperation projects, and I would say that at the level of America and Caribbean countries, we have 4 parliaments: the Latin American one, Central America, Mercosur, and Andean Parliament. So the 4 parliaments have gathered to work together and to talk with one and only one voice. Mr. Chair, we are waiting for you to come the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of June. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of June, we will all be meeting in Peru, Lima, 4 parliaments, Latin American and Caribbean parliaments, and the European Parliament. So we have a parliamentary assembly that is called Er-Rachid, and there we will all be meeting, and I would like to ask all of you at the level of your respective secretariats to issue the invitations so that we be supported during this event. I would say that parliamentary diplomacy has become a fundamental instrument in order to work for peace for our people. We want to work on trade, artificial intelligence. This has to go through Parliament. If the country wants to declare war to another country, it needs the approval of the parliamentary assemblies. The general laws of the budget laws which aims at fighting hunger, talking about governance, or artificial, all of these laws go through Parliament. And I would not say more. I think my heart is in Morocco, and I have been coming regularly since 1986 on a regular basis, and I have met with late King Hassan II, and then I also met with his successor, His Majesty Mohamed VI, and I see how Morocco is evolving, how it is working, and it is inviting us all together at the 2026 for the World Cup. And I hope Morocco will be playing the final match, and I hope that Morocco, Spain and Morocco will give us a celebration that we'll attend with all our hearts. So on behalf of the Andean countries from Latin America and the Caribbean countries, I offer you my heart, and I thank you wholeheartedly, and I invite you to come to Peru very soon, and until we meet again. Thank you very much.
Signor Presidente, gracias. Thank you for the information about the meeting in July. Very, very important. Thanks a lot. I have now the pleasure to call here to the podium His Excellency Honorable Carlos René Hernández Castillo, President of the Central American Parliament and President of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Europe and Latin America.
Su Excelencia, Señor Mohamed
Your Excellencies, Your Excellency, Mr. Mohamed Er-Rachid, Speaker of the House of Councillors, Kingdom of Morocco, distinguished Giulio Centemero, President of PAM, Mr. Mohamed Sabari, First Vice President of the House of Councillors, Mr. Chakib, President of the General Confederation of Enterprises of Morocco, distinguished speakers of the interparliamentary unions and of regional parliaments of Latin America, Euro-Mediterranean, and the Gulf, distinguished representatives, distinguished members of parliament, distinguished guests. As Speaker of the Central American Parliament, it is a great pleasure for me to take the floor at this third Parliamentary Economic Forum, which is being held in Marrakesh. I would like to thank the House of Councillors of the Kingdom of Morocco and the PAM for giving us this opportunity to take part in this important meeting in this marvelous setting. I'd like to thank the organizers for this conference and for the keen commitment to South-South cooperation. This event is an opportunity to share experiences and promote closer ties among us. I'd like to take this great opportunity to mention subjects that are extremely important for the development of our countries and for inter-regional cooperation. The Kingdom of Morocco has shown on many occasions that it seeks to promote South-South cooperation. That is why the Assembly of the Parliament of Central America has asked the observer countries to work jointly in this regard. I would like to point out in this regard the solid cooperation relations we have between our parliament and the parliaments in the Kingdom of Morocco. This is an alliance that was created 10 years ago and that has led to several joint initiatives. This cooperation has become a model of South-South cooperation, and it is based on that alliance that we have managed to promote the South-South cooperation as a major axis of our common developments. We have signed an agreement in 2019 that concerned a feasibility study for the creation of a fund for South-South cooperation and for triangular cooperation involving the regions. We believe that the future of our regions hinges on strategic integration and international cooperation, as well as the deployment and as well as efforts to promote and select the most adequate formula for cooperation that would be beneficial to our peoples. A clear example is the meeting that we're holding today that will address key issues such as AI, environment, climate change, security, and economic management. This year we are celebrating 10 years of uninterrupted cooperation between the House of Councillors of the Kingdom of Morocco and the Central American Parliament. This cooperation has made it possible to come up with the Parliamentary Economic Forum between Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean. This cooperation is based on the exchange of experiences, good practices, best practices, and the efforts to rise to common challenges. We have to come up with solutions to the problems facing our countries, making sure we respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our countries without any preconditions. We look forward to working together for the well-being of our countries and our peoples. We call on the Latin American, Caribbean parliaments to work together to promote South-South cooperation through our legislative assemblies. The Kingdom of Morocco, through its parliament, has been an active observer within the Central American Parliament. It has supported major initiatives regarding climate change, women's rights, economic integration, etc. That is why we would like to laud the support of the Kingdom of Morocco, which has contributed to the integration process in Central America. And we would like to thank Morocco for the various initiatives it has launched in this regard. I would like also to stress the importance of a declaration that was ratified and that was signed by the Speaker of the Andean Parliament and the Parliamentary Speaker. This alliance, important alliance with the Speaker of the House of Councillors of the Kingdom of Morocco, Mr. Mohamed Ould Er-Rachid, has made it possible to come up with a permanent or standing economic forum between Morocco, Central American, Latin America, and the Caribbean, and we would like to commend this forum that will make it possible for us to address the various challenges arising from the geopolitical changes affecting the world. And it will also help us address the problems faced by Latin American and Caribbean peoples. We look forward to becoming a strategic axis in the policy of our countries, and we think that this can foster dialogue and solidarity in order to achieve sustainable development we yearn for. It is fundamental that we have platforms such as this one, as was pointed out by the previous speaker. And there will be a meeting of the, as was mentioned, that will be held between the 1st and 3rd June of this year, and this is a key element, that's the key event that will address migration, will address the situation of women and the prospects for promoting international cooperation. I would like to, before concluding, to call upon all of you to continue working for the promotion of South-South cooperation and the achievement of our parliamentary objectives. I would like, before concluding, to salute the declaration made to promote the efforts made to promote the development of the southern provinces in Morocco. Our parliament does not interfere in the internal relations of countries, and it respects the sovereignty of countries, and we look forward to peaceful solutions to be found, taking into account the need to respect the territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Morocco and respect for its full-fledged sovereignty over its territory. Your Excellency, Mr. Ould Er-Rachid, as you know, in June there will be two major events. So one of them is the Parliamentary Assembly meeting of Central American Parliament, to which you are invited, just like the delegations attending this conference. And there will be also the Economic Forum that we shall celebrate with the House of Councillors of the Kingdom of Morocco. This will take place in El Salvador on 24th of June of this year. Therefore, we look forward to having all of you with us for these two events in order to continue to exchange on these two questions that are of great importance for us. I would like to reiterate my thanks to the House of Councillors of the Kingdom of Morocco and to its Speaker. Thank you so much for your continuing support and for the efforts you're making to promote our interparliamentary cooperation. I would like to also thank His Excellency Giulio Centemero, PAM President for all his efforts. Thank you for holding this third Parliamentary Economic Forum, and thank you again to all the teams and all the people who have made it possible for us to meet today. Congratulations for this excellent organization and for the arrangements made. I'm convinced that this forum will make it possible to promote exchanges between economic and political stakeholders that represent the private sector, the academia, in order to address economic and climate challenges. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
And indeed, with President Er-Rachid, we were also considering to make a structured cooperation between PAM and the regional parliament from Central and Latin America, because I think it's important and there is benefit from all. So thank you very much. Said so, I have the pleasure to invite here to the podium His Excellency Honorable Carlos Núñez Salinas, the alternate president of the Parliament of the Latin America and the Caribbean.
Muy buenos días, estimado señor presidente de la Cámara de Consejeros de la
Excellency Mr. Mohamed Ould Er-Rachid, Speaker of the House of Representatives of Morocco, I would like to convey to you the heartfelt thanks of the delegation, for the President of the delegation as well as the delegation members, the Secretary General of PAM. Thank you for the invitation extended to us. I would like to tell all the presidents of the different congresses, organizations, unions here present, and I would also like to thank my colleagues from Latin America and our great friends. Thank you for being here with us. And Mr. Chair, I would like to have a great love for Morocco. We have a common history and for what Morocco represents and the Morocco's efforts in order to that are important for us within our Latin American regions. We respect all the institutions, favor all development initiatives, and we work together in order to achieve peace within our regions. You can count on us. For Latin America is delighted to take part in all your forums and fora. We would like to express our support to your country and say that you can count on us to meet all your challenges. You can count on our support. Our region presents a lot of advantages. We have a lot of natural resources, so this is what enables us to prioritize on renewable energy. We have 60% of energy in Latin America and the Caribbean, which comes from renewable energies. This is much more than what the world average, the global average. In our region, we have identified some challenges concerning the legislative and political framework concerning public policy. This is what it is a hurdle for some countries to opt for energy diversity. There is also a problem concerning access to clean energy, especially in rural energies. There is also a trend for hydroelectric companies that are exposed to hydric stress and climate change, have problems with storage and storage issues. There's also the problem with the normative framework, which is not developed in certain countries, and this is the challenges that we have in the energy sector. The economic growth in Latin America has been slow and volatile over the past years because of the few lack of the exploitation of raw materials because of the importance of the informal sectors and the need for investments in infrastructures and education, but also because of the fragility of our public institutions. So, which this is, of course, has caused a lot of social problems, and our region now is qualified as one of the most unequal regions of the world. Now, thanks to this forum, we can come, analyze, dialogue, exchange, and share best experiences and practices. This will enable us in short term to learn from each other and to improve our situation. We will have an opportunity to collaborate and to make progress together in order to protect our planet and to go through the structural change, whether it be at the level of production, from production level to the energy distribution, to reduce gas emissions and improve energy efficiency by adopting a sustainable and resilient model. The Palatino commends the celebration of this forum because this enables us to understand the intelligence as a transformative means which will enable us to, of course, create jobs, avoid loss, avoid unemployment, and this green economy and artificial intelligence have a transformative power which we're going to analyze within this space. These are two major engines that, if they're well used, will enable us to develop our economic models and consequently to favor more resilient and equalitarian models. We have this space which enables us to explore those integration mechanisms through the enhancement of interregional trade, the distribution chain, and cooperation. Today, we have the possibility to generate collective knowledge in order to create public and private experiences and connections that we can have an ethical framework, and we can train human skills and talents, taking into consideration the present challenges which will prepare us for a future and will enable us to implement the DGC goals. Thank you.
To the podium, Honorable Ahmed Jebouri from the Arab Parliament, please.
Good morning to you all. Assalamu alaikum. Distinguished Speaker of the House of Councillors of the Kingdom of Morocco, Mr. Mohamed Ould Er-Rachid. Distinguished President of PAM, Mr. Giulio. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, may God's peace be upon all of you. It gives me a great pleasure and it's an honor for me to take part in the proceedings of this third Marrakesh Economic Parliamentary Forum for the Euro-Mediterranean region and the Gulf. On behalf of His Mohamed bin Yahya, Speaker of the Arab Parliament, I would like to express my sincere thanks and deep gratitude to the House of Councillors of the Kingdom of Morocco and the PAM for the excellent arrangements made for this forum that has become a high-level parliamentary platform for the exchange of views, for concerted action regarding the challenges we face and the economic questions addressed as far as the two shores of the Mediterranean and the Gulf region are concerned. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, the global challenges faced today, including the disturbance of supply chains and the economic warfare and the changes affecting the international markets, call for greater cooperation between our countries and for the achievement of sustainable economic development that is based on complementarity, not competitiveness, on cooperation, not on disrupted modes of action. We believe that the two shores of the Mediterranean and the Gulf region represent a major linking point over the years, and the achievement of economic cooperation is extremely important to make sure that we deal with, we address the need to achieve sustainable development as well as the prosperity of our peoples, especially in the light of what the two regions have in terms of potential and the geographical location, as well as the natural resources and human resources they boast. These are key elements that can, if they are properly exploited, they can make the two regions a major hub for economic development in the global economy as well. We believe that this complementarity, the desired complementarity, calls for political will in order to address whatever obstacles are out there, whatever challenges exist, including the dismantling of barriers and to facilitate the flow of services and goods between the two shores of the Mediterranean and the two regions as well, in order to benefit from the advantages that the two regions have in the areas of energy, tourism, technology and farming, in order to reduce dependence on just one sector and to make sure that we achieve sustainable economic development. We, as members of Parliament and as representatives of the will of the people, are called upon to play an influential role in the achievement of economic complementarity and integration between the Euro-Mediterranean region and the Gulf, through the adoption of legislation and laws that facilitate the economic flows and exchanges in this regard. I suggest that we work on the adoption of a legislative roadmap to promote economic cooperation between the two regions, making sure we serve our common objectives, in addition to promoting dialogue and cooperation between the public and private sectors. Before concluding, I would like to say, since we're talking about economy and about politics and the Mediterranean, there is a people that is being massacred by an Israeli aggression, and that is the Palestinian people, that they are suffering from genocide following the killing and this forced displacement of people today. They are also subjected to starvation, and the food supplies are being denied, whereas the international community is keeping silent. Therefore, I ask that we all in this economic forum, that we adopt a stance of the Mediterranean countries and all the countries participating in this conference, that are listening to our call, listening to our appeal to apply pressure on Israel to allow food supplies and medicines in, and to stop the genocide that is taking place in Palestine. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you. I wish to thank Honorable Jabouri for his intervention, and I want to reassure you that we are working very, very close with the United Nations, with the UN Humanitarian Relief Coordinator, making all the possible action to ensure the humanitarian corridor, the food corridor, the delivery and we thank the government of Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, the Emirates, all those who have mobilized for that. Said so, now we have a little important, significant ceremony. PAM will sign today, together with UNIDO, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, an important memorandum of understanding. Is one of those critical steps for PAM in working closer with the UN system, which is really written in our bylaw. And for me, there is a personal pride in announcing this, because also the colleague from UNIDO here don't know that I started my UN career in UNIDO. So it's something that I spent 5 years in Ethiopia, by the way, in that capacity. So I have now the pleasure for you all to be witness of this important moment for us. Thanks also to the President of the Chamber of Councillors of Morocco, who hosted us for this event. And I would like to invite President Centemero and our colleague, Madame Sane Lulu, from UNIDO representative, who will sign on behalf of Gerd Müller, who is the UN Director General. Please. Thank you very much for thank you to you all to be here today for this important ceremony. And for the colleague of UNIDO, we start cooperation with UNIDO a long time ago when the Director General was Mr. Junkella, and we supported the Energy for All program at the request of the UN Secretary General. So, said so, now I invite you to go out. We have the family photo with the President, and after the family photo, we will have the lunch break here, and we resume at 2:30 sharp. So I invite you to go out in the garden for the family photo. Thank you.